Okay, welcome to video 4.1, and in this video we're going to be talking about slope or average rate of change. There are 4 different types of slope, and they are positive, negative, zero, and undefined. So a positive slope is like going uphill, so the line will look something like this. So you can see how it's going uphill, it's positive. A negative slope then would mean that it's going the opposite, it's going downhill, so it might look like this. So we can see that it's going down. A zero slope is a horizontal line. So that's why we see this way at the bottom, and that means we have a horizontal line with a zero slope, and it's always in the form of y equals. And this is what it looks like. And lastly, we have a vertical line, so that means it's a VUX at the bottom stands for a vertical line with an undefined slope, and it's always in the form of x equals, and it might look something like this. Now remember that these lines can be shifted around, but they generally positive will always be looking like this, but it might be moved up or down or left or right, but it'll generally look like something like this, and so on for each of them. Okay, so we can find slope or average rate of change in 2 ways. When we are given 2 points, we can find a slope, and remember average rate of change or rate of change, that's just another way of saying slope of the line by using the formula. So the formula is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And that's just another way of saying the change in y over the change in x. So we would write out our 2 points, label them y2, y1, x2, and x1, and just subtract them. But remember, whatever we start with, whatever y value we start with, we must go back to that point to get that x value. Now, the other way we can find a slope is if we're given a graph line, we can just look for the rise over the run. So that just means count how much we rise or move up or down on the graph over how much we run or left and right on the graph. So it might help you to add these little arrows off to the side. We also must remember that slope should always be a fraction in simplest form. So let's look at a couple of examples. In this first example, we're given 2 points. So that means I'd have to use the formula, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I wrote above my point, which I think is a big help, x1, y1, x2, y2. So then it's easier to fill in my formula. And I highly suggest writing the formula if you don't already have it. But since it's at the top of this paper, we're just going to go ahead and use it. So y2 would be 4. Y1 would be a negative 2, so just be careful to always use parentheses when we substitute in, and it's especially helpful for when we have a negative. So 4 minus negative 2, and since I used 4 first as my y2, I must go back to this point to get the x2. So I have to start with 2 minus 0. 4 minus negative 2, that's 6, divided by 2 minus 0 is 2, and then we get our answer, which is 3. So the slope of this first example would be 3. So that's how we use the slope formula. A couple of key things to remember are that you always have to go back to the same point, and I highly suggest writing x1, y1, x2, y2 above the point. Okay, now we're going to do 4 together, and then the rest will be for you to do. So since we're given a graph here, I can just see how much I rise or how much I run. So if I pick a point, and then I go up 1, 2 over 1. Well, that means that the slope would be up 2 over 1. And then to get that as an answer, 2 divided by 1 comes out nice. So I can just say that the slope is 2. But you can also write it as 2 over 1. Either one is okay. So remember that to find these slopes, you always go to your calculator, divide them, and math frac so that it's in simplest form. Okay, that's it for this video. We'll go over it more in class. Have a good night.